Alright, how's it going, guys? So we just got done with our stream, and as you can see, we have many changes around here. So we built a duplicate of this one here, and this is for bronze. Tested it out, everything works perfectly fine. And we made another one over here, which is making Invar. Tested it out, everything's working fine. We built this one that was a copy of this one for iron. And it was all working fine. And then I got a bright idea of why don't I put in a off signal to stop it from working if we do not have exactly what it needs to work. So I put two item meters up here, set them to less than, and then set it out to this redstone wire. And the light is up there for me to use as a visual. Same with this light here. This one I'm going to leave just so if I'm over here, I can see that we're out of one of the two items. This one I probably should turn this way, because if I'm standing over here, I can see the number on it. Now, granted, that does not do anything for what's in there, but it would tell me if it's empty. So let me try to explain what we have working here, because, well, it's a little different from our normal. It's the normal basic setup, and yes, I did build these with the extra hopper there because I actually had that happen. I think it has something to do with the direction in which you're facing. In the old base, it was probably not facing the same direction as this, and that's why I wasn't having the issue. But in this one, I was. So all of mine will have the extra hopper. But it's basically the same setup. You still have your shut off on the front set, just like the rest. You still have your core temperature on the back, which I do need to get that block back in there. And then you have your equals 0 on your weightometer on the side. Now, the difference being here that instead of having the redstone torches on this wire here, that redstone torch is now down under here, going into this block right here, which is connected to that. So we're inverting our signal here instead of at the hoppers. Now, basically the way this is working is this is our input, which is coming through a pulse generator. I'll put a link to where we showed how the pulse generator works in another video. But basically, it gets a signal down, it goes through the pulse generator, it sends one pulse out to this block. This here is a repeater, which will keep anything coming through this block from forcing back into the front of it. That's all that does. And I had that because originally this was connected to here. So I do believe we can take this out. We can take that off, and we can just connect this wire directly now. We'll find out here in a minute if that's the case. But anyways, pulse comes through, gets inverted, goes into this block, and then that will send signal up and tell the hoppers to release for one tick. And then the pulse generator stops sending a signal, and it turns the light back on. This is coming from up there, which also has a repeater on there, so that it will not get a signal from here. So if we come up here and we look in the chest, we have one amount of each. And if we take that out, we get another amount of each. Now, if we take out, which I guess this is one reason why we need this turned this way. If I take that out, we now have a signal coming up from up there, which means when we hit this and we take it out, nothing happens. We get nothing through there because this redstone signal here is coming down into here, and it's making this a full signal at all times. So no matter what comes through the pulse generator, it's not going to change that signal. The pulse generator only allows it to turn off when there isn't a signal from up above. And I've made a video about how I came up with this, and I will link it as well so you guys can see how that worked. But when we turn this, oops, forgot that lever's not being used anymore. When we put this back in here, that is going to allow us to get our pulse. But because the pulse has already been sent, we actually need to feed this. So you can literally just say, here's an iron ingot, put an iron ingot in here, let that heat back up, and then when it melts, you get your next set. Or you can take a set just like we force feed both of these. You could do the same thing here. I'm sure there's a way to put a button on this. I actually tried to work that out, but after the good hour or so it took me to get to this point, I was fed up and just said, nope, I'm done. I am perfectly fine with force feeding one iron ingot in it to make it work, or one batch to make it work, whichever the case may be. Now, before I changed the system, it worked perfectly fine, and we got our batch. So let's go ahead and, well, first off, let's get rid of this up here because we don't need this anymore. This was only for testing purposes. And we can get rid of this because that was only for testing purposes. And we can do that. Now we can go ahead and pull out our, actually we need to take this out of here for a second because we want the system to be locked, which it currently is. So we can put that back in there. We can take out the chest. We can put in our crucible. And then we will take 6 of these. Drop them in. We will take 7 of these. Drop them in. Put the rest back up there, which will allow that to work, but did not drop any extra. And we will kick the tires and light the fires. And now that should work. It should cook up every bit of iron that we have until one of those two are empty. So let's go ahead and empty this of iron, which we can go ahead and put over here on our stack of iron. And while that is working, we can go ahead and put on our beauty plates, because I ended up putting this one block too far, so I had to go into the wall, and that one's going to be a pain in the butt to fix. I always forget where that chisel is. By the way, I had to make a new multi-tool because I broke the bronze one, as I expected to happen. I actually expected it to happen before now. But there is that taken care of. Now we can go ahead and put that back in there so our wall looks good, except for that one, which we can actually take this out and we can put it on like that. Chisel it from the side, and there we go. Alright, so let's let that run. And where is, there it is. So I made a new food. This is summer squash with radish. We've got plenty of seed oil. So since we have our pumpkins out there growing, radish, zucchini, spice leaf, I just needed to get a seed oil bottle, and that made that able to be done. Oh, you were a friend of mine. Well, too bad. I don't have any ender chest to pick you up with. Alright, you have been making noise quite long enough. And now we can get rid of all of this. This was just so I didn't have any creepers coming and doing that. Creepers, man, I'm telling you. They are perfect at times. That is exactly why I didn't want them here. Okay, so the only thing it broke was... why did you do that? That off of there. This is the one with the slate. So we need to put that back on there. And I think it destroyed an entire one. Luckily, that's not getting a signal down through there, so that is fine. It's not going to mess up what we're doing inside. Alright. And I have no idea how that one came up missing. But it's okay. Spiders are only too wide, so we can't get through there. Alright, so now we just need to fix that one right there. Nothing in here got messed up. Probably should go downstairs, make sure everything's fine down there. There you go. We have iron, and there's more in there. It works. Let's just go downstairs here, make sure everything is fine, which it is. All right. So, just for a quick overview of the other ones, we have 2 hoppers here, 2 hoppers there. There is a brass pipe there and a brass pipe there, leading into here from the hoppers. These 2 hoppers go into each other and then into the brass pipe for our output. these are doing the exact same thing, except this hopper is feeding into this pipe is feeding into that hopper, and then both of these hoppers are going into the chest. But other than that, they're all the same. The only other thing that is different from this one, actually, there's nothing different from this one. This is exactly the same. We have this set to pull 7. We have this set to pull 6. We're using coal coke chunks because 6 of them equals 1/2 of a coal coke. This only works with coal coke. Do not try this with charcoal. Charcoal needs more. You would actually need 6 actual charcoal if you were using charcoal, not chunks, because or coal, because coal is half a carbon, coke is a full carbon. So if you were using coal for this rather than coal coke, you would have actual coal. Not if you're using dust, you would use coal dust, not chunks or smalls in that case if it was dust. For the bronze, same thing. This one is set to exactly 3. This is set to exactly 1. And then for the Invar, it is 2 and 1. So if you have any questions on how I set any of this up, feel free to ask in the comments, in Discord. I should be having another live stream on Monday morning before you actually see this video, or around the time you see this video, because I have more stuff I need to get done for the rest of the week. Hope you guys enjoyed. As always, thanks for watching, and thanks to, if I can hit the right button, thanks to my patrons for their support. Thank you guys that can't do Patreon for all of your support watching and keeping me going. And I will see you guys next time.